Gotham episode 4, Arkham. Definitely a great episode. I think this was probably my favorite episode so far. It was really cool to see what Penguin was doing. It was great to see him rising through the ranks. Although, in the preview for next week's episode, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen because he kind of did a dumb move. Like, he's been really, really smart throughout this entire thing so far. He was saved by Jim, which I guess in that moment he was that was probably the dumbest moment he had. He got caught because he was the only one that actually saw Mooney with the necklace, but after that he's just been like a murderer. He's been killing anyone who kind of got in his way. He hired thugs to rob the place that he worked at, got the manager killed. He was the one who was able to get a little bit of the money and save what he could. And then, of course, he got promoted, so he has a suit, and he's going to be in charge now. And in the preview, it seems like he's going to screw up, and he just sits down because he thinks, no big deal. I used to work for her, but now I work for you. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. So I'm excited to see how things are going to play on the next week's episode. But in this one, I really loved him. I thought he was great. It was cool to see that he was the one that did hire the people at the end, and then of course he killed them off. And I actually like those guys. They were all just like, we made a bunch of money, we were successful, we made it. Everything's just great. They're just laughing and like, it's great. And like he brings them, of course, poison cannolis, and so they all get killed off, and he takes the money, which I think he'll save for himself because I feel like if he says, "Oh, I just found all that money you were missing," that would be even dumber than just saying I used to work for Falcone and now I work for you. But I thought he did really great in this episode. That was really cool. We didn't get to see too much of Penguin and Gordon actually working together. We got a little bit where he did help him out at the end of the episode, and that helped Gordon figure out like, oh crap, it's going to be the mayor because the cops were on the payroll for Maroni or Falcone, I guess. I don't really know, but it was really cool. And of course, with this episode being titled Arkham, we really got to hear a lot of the talk for what's going to happen with Arkham, which of course, if you know Batman, you know how it's going to end, of course. But this side of the story is really cool because it's of course the origins of it, so we get to see why it's so important. And everyone knows, even Fish Mooney, it's like if Maroni gets a part of the land, then Falcone will take a really big hit, and he did. And Mooney is doing some things in this episode, and this was probably my favorite episode for her too. I thought she did really well in this one. Jada Pinkett Smith, I think, acted the role very well in this episode because I mentioned before she seems very over the top sometimes, and in this one she seemed like it was toned down again. So it seems like it goes up and down sometimes, but I really liked her in this episode. She was really crazy. She had those crazy moments like when she was asking the girls like to seduce her and stuff, which has some meaning, of course, but it was like that weird thing like, why does this matter? Of course, I'm sure we'll find out in the future, but crazy stuff like that. And when the guy says, for the first girl, he's like, are you sure you want to find someone else because she's a really great singer, and she's like a cute girl, and she's like, I'm not looking for a girl, I'm looking for a weapon. And she kind of switched it up, like she enjoyed the girl, and then she switched up and she like snaps at him, it's like, look at me. And she got real mad, like, I'm looking for something very specific right now. I don't just need a girl who looks cute and can sing, I need a weapon. So I'm excited for whatever she has planned. I don't know what a teenage girl or like early 20s girl is really gonna do, but she has some sort of plan for her as a weapon. So I can't wait to see how that plays out against Falcone. I'm still very curious as to what a young girl's gonna do because I don't think this guy, who's a mob boss of mob bosses in Gotham, is just gonna like fall for a young girl. So I want to see what her plan really is. But I enjoyed her in this episode as well. The actual crime was pretty interesting. I enjoyed the killer himself. He had, like, his weapon was really weird. It was super simplistic, but at the same time, it was really cool. Like, it was just, boom, he hits a button, it shoots out super fast and retracts back in. Doesn't cause a bunch of blood to shoot everywhere. It's not super fancy or anything like that. It's just, boom, if he hits you in the right spot, it'll kill you instantly. If not, it'll at least, hit you real hard and it'll damage you while you're running away. So I enjoyed his character. He did some really weird stuff. Like my girlfriend mentioned this, like, why was the body of the actual guy Gladwell still in the apartment? That really doesn't make any sense. Like, that was something that was weird. The end of the episode when he was still gonna try to kill off the mayor, that was just, I told her, like, that it didn't really make too much sense, but it's like TV villain stuff. Like, at some point they have to do stupid things. The body thing was just really weird because it was like 5 years. There's a lot of story behind that because you can't just say like, oh, he killed the guy and just left him there and paid his rent and stuff. He would have had to literally like drain that body and chop it up and do all sorts of weird, crazy chemical stuff, or he might not have, I don't know. But he'd have to do some really serious work not to have a 5 year old body smell like a 5 year old body that, was just lying on the ground. So that didn't make any sense. And it could have been a deleted scene. That seems like the type of thing where it's like you would have some form of explanation. They just felt by the end of the filming, like, unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave this dialogue in because it's how they catch the character, but they don't really go into full detail. So I'm hoping that was a deleted scene because otherwise, it really doesn't make sense if you like kill someone off and then you just leave a dead body. Like, he kills this guy 5 years ago, takes over his identity, has false records and all this sort of things, all this other stuff, and you just leave the dead body in the apartment. But I enjoyed the episode. The main crime was good. We got to see a little bit of Bruce, which was pretty cool. He had the nightmare and stuff. But overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm really excited for next week's episode. I can't wait to see Penguin's. He hit a real high, and based on the preview, it seems like he's gonna hit a real low. But of course, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and of course, with Penguin hitting such a big high in this episode, and Mooney kind of making her move now that Falcone is taking a big hit, how do you guys think the mob dynamics are really going to go throughout the rest of this series? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.